Welcome to Switch Gaming. My name is Marco, and today we are talking about grading comics. I look online a lot, and I see a lot of people talking about, or constantly asking rather, when should I get my comics graded? What comics should I get graded? What kind of value should I be looking at for a book before I decide to get it graded? And there's a lot of factors and decisions that need to be made into it, and we're going to talk all about that right after I tell you about my giveaway. I'm giving away 3 awesome comic bundles at 500 subscribers. That's right, 3 lucky subscribers will each win one of these 3 comic bundles. All you have to do to enter is simply be subscribed and leave a comment on this video. If you would like additional chances to win, you can watch other videos on my channel and leave comments on those as well. Each comment on a new video is another chance to win. Good luck. So before I talk about, particularly grading any kind of book, I want to talk about something. If you've been watching the channel, you may have heard me talk about it before, but I separate my comics, at least mentally when I'm buying them, into 3 different categories. I have my personal collection, my comics that I buy as an investment, and my personal collection for now. And I have a couple examples here for you. So I just got this back from CGC here recently, my Thor God of Thunder number 2, first appearance of Gore the God Butcher. Super cool comic. And I also have my Amazing Spider-Man 194. And this is first Black Cat. Again, very, very cool comic. And also specifically picked a modern and a older book as well. And they, I would say, are both in my personal collection for now. And I feel like that's the area, for me at least, where most of my comics will live. There's a very small percentage that are just 100% personal collection. I'm buying it just because I really want that book, and I have, I don't really care about necessarily it raising or lowering in value or anything. It doesn't matter if that suddenly becomes a worthless book. It doesn't matter because I just want it regardless, So books like these I buy because I do enjoy them, and they're super cool. I like to put them up on my shelves and display them with figures and do all kinds of stuff. They're really cool to have and to look at and to appreciate. But, for example, when Thor Love and Thunder comes out, if this book, because I only have maybe $150 or so into it after purchasing it and grading it and everything. And right now it's about a $350 book. So, I could already sell the book and make a decent profit. However, it's in my personal collection for now. If there comes a time where I see a number where this book is valued at that really just has me go, okay, I gotta choose the money over the love for the book. When that movie comes out, and just assuming that Christian Bale is going to do an awesome job, and they do a good job writing his character and everything, and it's super cool, might not even just be a one-movie villain potentially, who knows. There's all kinds of factors that could make this book just, shoot through the roof. And let's just say, for example, I'm going to use fairly clean, even numbers when I'm just throwing hypotheticals out. But let's just say this becomes a $1,000 book. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I got $150 in this book. It's a $1,000 book now. I'm probably going to take that sell. Because the way I look at it, there's so many books out there that I would love to have. And, if I can take that book and take the profit that I've made off that one, I'm not doing this to get rich or nothing. It's all going back into the machine, into the system, and producing more comics. So I might be going on a bit of a tangent here, but that's what my personal collection for now kind of comics is. I will say, and with the same thing with Black Cat, I don't know if Sony has any plans of ever doing anything with her, but maybe they do someday. Maybe they don't. If not, it just stays in my collection. If personal collection for now could mean forever, could maybe not mean forever. It's just like, I like this book. I like it enough to, have it and own it and display it. But at the same time, if it hits a certain number, and it's going to be a different number for each book, and depends on how much you got into it and all this and whatever. But if it hits that number, then that book is gone. And then as far as like invest books, I don't know if I really have any here right now. I know I have one getting graded. It's The Last Ronin #1, the cover A first print. I enjoyed that series. Well, it's not done yet, but I've been enjoying that series. And I like that book, but at the same time, I was like, I'm just going to get it graded and either sell it or trade it. Because it doesn't mean that much to me. I'm not a big Turtles guy. And that book could be another book that I really want instead, you know? So, like I said, either sell it, trade it, do something to make it into something else. And that's a book that I got, well, I didn't buy it strictly to invest. I bought it, you know, to check out the story. But then when I graded it, I was like, that decision was solely an investment decision. Because I'm like, I'm going to make this book more valuable and sell it, and, you know, or trade it or whatever. And I feel like that's the smallest section of what I actually buy. At least for me. It doesn't have to be. I mean, for you, maybe you do invest into a lot of books that you don't particularly care about. Maybe you're buying Eternals books and you have no, you know, care in the world about the Eternals. But, you know, you bought some because, you know, they're going to rise up in price when the movie comes out. That's fine. Go ahead and do that. Maybe, you know, you bought a bunch of Spider-Man 361s, you know, a couple years back, and you're waiting for the movie to come out and dropping all those. Cool. Good for you. And, you know, maybe if you don't care about Carnage, or I mean, especially if you're getting into, like, if you get multiple copies of a book, then at that point I really do think it is more so investment, although there are some people that absolutely love a book and want to just get more and more copies of that book, and at that point that's a very special love. But I do got a couple examples here. So, like, this is another book I bought, personal collection for now. Cool book. I like having it on my wall. I like showing it off. I got the old school figure design that goes with this. Looks cool together. But, you know, when that first Disney Marvel movie comes out, you know, we'll see what the price is like. And, you know, this book just might have to go. Now, this is a book, let's see, that I bought. I bought before they announced the Armor Wars series, and I bought it strictly because I love this cover. Now, so this is a book I bought for personal collection, and now it has been gaining some value. I don't foresee it really getting to a point where I want to sell it. I wouldn't mind maybe upgrading to a higher grade or something, but I bought it because it was relatively cheap, and I just I'm a War Machine fan. I'm an Iron Man fan, and I thought this was an amazing, beautiful cover, and I had to have it. So this one, again, I bought not really caring if it grew in value. I just bought it because I wanted it. Same thing here. I got the first solo Man-Thing. To me, this was a cooler book than going after first appearance of Man-Thing, because that was in Conan, I believe. And I just don't care. I want Man-Thing on the cover. I want Man-Thing on the title. This is what I wanted. I also have even Man-Thing #1 Volume 2. I had that one graded. That was a 9.6 on that one, I believe. And again, I really like the cover. Really cool book. I'm a fan of Man-Thing. It's what I wanted. Now, granted, there has been a little bit of speculation around Man-Thing, and I think Man-Thing comics have been maybe going up a little bit based on very loose speculation. But, you know, again, I don't, unless this book goes absolutely astronomical, it's not going anywhere. Got Thor 150 here, lower grade book on this one, you know, but this book's hard to find in better condition. Like if you search Thor 150 CGC on eBay or something, I mean, you know, maybe best one you find is maybe an 8 or something. You know, you can't go on and find a nice crispy 9.8 or 9.6 on this one. I mean, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but, you know, and I'm sure it's a pretty penny. But again, just really cool hella cover. There's, you know, been some chatter about the potential possibility Hela, you know, didn't die in Ragnarok, which I would be fine with. I thought Hela was one of my favorite villains in the MCU, but, you know, maybe she comes back. Maybe this book is worth more money. I don't care. I bought it because I really like it. And same thing here. all new ghostwriter, 1 in 25, super, super hard to find book. This book, you barely find this, and doesn't matter the grade or raw or whatever. This thing you don't see. So I waited a while, bought a 9.4 as soon as I found one, and I bought it for what I thought was a reasonable price. Since then, I've seen 2 9.6s, and they're quite a bit more. I think the last one I saw sold for like $500. I think I only paid like $200 for this. Obviously, it was going to be worth it, especially for a book that you can hardly find. So, but again, maybe Robbie Reyes pops up in the MCU at some point, at some time. But I bought that for me, not as any kind of spec or hope that it'll grow in value. If it does, cool. But, And so with these 3 categories, people are going to... It's going to differ depending on who you are. Like I said, maybe, you only have a handful of books that you really care about for yourself, and you buy those and you're happy with those. And then at the same time, or maybe you're working up to something really big. Maybe you really want that Amazing Fantasy 15 or whatever else, whatever big book. And so you just buy these little books as you can, let them grow in value, get them graded, grow in value with that. And then, you flip them and move things and keep going in this pattern however long it takes you until you can get that big book that you need. Maybe you just buy things that you like and you're like, I'm not super attached to anything. If anything goes up in value, tremendously, I can sell it. Or maybe you're on the opposite end. Maybe you're like, I don't care about ever selling a book. Some people are like that. Some people are like, I don't care if this book is $1 million. I want this book, and I want it for me. However you are, just keep those 3 things in mind as we progress. I feel like I talked about that a lot. So we're going to go ahead and then talk about value on books, because I see a lot of people ask, how much should a book be worth before I consider it getting graded? And I'll talk about it in raw metrics. My general rule of thumb is $100 raw. These are raw prices. It's not a set rule, and sometimes I may break the rules, because sometimes, for example, Invincible Iron Man #1 Volume 3 right here. I talk about this book on the channel all the time. I don't know why I'm so deeply fascinated with this cover. I love this cover. I have 4 of them at CGC right now getting graded. And this is only like a $30 book. It's not a super expensive book, but it's a book that I have high faith in and high spec in. And one of those is going to be for me. I'm hoping to get a 9.8. I'll settle for a 9.6 out of one of them, But the rest of them I'm going to hold on to. And whenever Ironheart comes out on Disney Plus, I'm probably going to flip them and move them for something else. I don't know what it's going to be at that time, what I'll be looking for, what I'll have and need and whatever. But I think it's perfectly acceptable, although a risk, although I feel like this is a safe risk. Go ahead and, if you have a book that you think, has either potential or just hard. I mean, there's no way this book doesn't go up in value. Now, how much is the question? And that's, again, going to depend on different things, how people receive the show, and, is she going to appear in the movies and do this and whatever? And, there's a lot of factors into how much this particular book will be worth. But that being said, like I said, I mean, that's like less than 30%. Like I said, my usual threshold is $100. Is like a $30 book. So there are exceptions to it. And even with that in mind, even if it's a book that you don't particularly, even if it's a book that you do particularly really love, and it's not really worth anything. Maybe you have a really cool variant cover that you are absolutely in love with, and it is a $4 book. If it is your favorite cover in the world and you want to stare at it every day for the rest of your life, then sure, get it graded. You'll keep it protected, and you could hang it on your wall or put it on a shelf or whatever it is you want to do with it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you're getting something for personal collection, it really doesn't matter if it is a $5 book or a $1,000 book or a $1,000,000 book. If you have no intention of selling it, then it's just for you to look at, right? It's just for you to look at and be happy that it's there. And again, like I said, that's what I do with this book. Now, I could see this being a very expensive book if we ever do get Robbie Reyes in the MCU, but that is not why I own this book. And, you know, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't think this will ever be $1,000,000 book. Because even if this, let's say, I spent $200 on this. Let's say Robbie Reyes is announced for the MCU. His movie is getting ready to come out. It's super hot. The trailers look amazing. Everyone is freaking out about this book. I'm trying to think what number it would have to be for me to consider selling it. Because like I said, for this one, I got about $150 in, which is relatively the same amount of money. But if this thing hits $1,000, even like $800, that book's probably gone. I like it. It's cool, but that's a big come up. And I'm willing to take that and, move on to something else. And again, maybe later, one day, a few years after that or something, the book's cooled down, I can get it again. Maybe it's become more expensive at that point. Who knows? But this book, at $800, I'm not moving it. At $1,000, probably still not moving it. I don't know. I mean, clearly, if this was $1,000,000 book, I mean, $1,000,000 is life-changing money. So, clearly, there is a number, but I don't know, and what's reasonable. Even if it's I guess $100,000, that's pretty life-changing. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't have a number associated with this book because I don't think of it in that way. I don't plan it for it to, get to a point where it's yes, I'm holding out for this one to, make me some money. I don't think about it in a money aspect. This book, although I really like it, I'm oh, this is so cool, I still have a money lingering thought with it. You know what I mean? Certain book, like my New Mutants 98, when that book was climbing, I was checking that very regularly. I was very interested in the growth of that, the value of that book. So that's why I was talking earlier about, it's important to know, is it personal collection, is it investment, or is it personal collection for now? Which I said is what I lean towards on most of my books. I buy them with I like this, it's a cool book, but it might just not be in the collection one day, depending on what the prices do. That being said, for example, with this New Mutants 98, I know this book's cooled down quite a bit recently, but for a while there, I mean, it was just climbing. And so, I bought this book, again, cool book, and I know the numbers are way off right now. But again, there's going to be a Deadpool movie at some point. Maybe the numbers get back up there and surpass what they were for a while there. But if this book, I could do an even either trade or sell and then buy an NYX3, I would totally do it. 100% do it because I would rather have that book. So I think of it in that way, even if it is just money. Be yeah, I'd rather have that $1,000 because there's other cool things. It might not even just be one book. It's with that $1,000, I could buy 4 books or 6 books or whatever it is, that I've been wanting. So that is how I look at getting things graded when I'm considering, my last batch I pulled out, which I can't even remember the full list right now. I know I got those 2 that I had signed by Sam De La Rosa. I had the Venom Lethal Protector and the Predator. I had the Invincible Iron Man, the Riri keys, number 7 and number 9. Those were in there. Number 7 and number 9, those are good examples of personal collection for now. I really like those books. Those are cool books, but when we get around time to Ironheart, that one might have to go. However, like I said, I did buy multiple of these, and I'm hoping to get a really nice grade on one of them at least, and I will keep that one. And who knows, maybe eventually I'll get more Invincible Iron Man number 7 and 9, and maybe I'll have some that I can move and some that I can sell. But even then, I'm not as attached to those covers. Like, I really like to pose my action figures with some of my slabs and stuff. If you follow me on Instagram, I post a lot of that kind of pictures and stuff like that, and show off some of my shelves and whatnot. And so this one, there is an Ironheart figure. Our shop hasn't got them yet. I'm really excited to get it, but when I do, and I'm waiting on the slab too, obviously that's going to be forever. I'm going to definitely get the figure before then, but I'm in my mind, I just can't wait to put that slab and that figure together, because it's going to look so cool. And there's room on the shelf. I could maybe fit a number 7. Maybe I could probably fit a number 7 and number 9 up there if I really wanted to squeeze them in, and then have the Riri sitting there as well. But if 7 and 9 are up there, cool. If they're not, no big deal. This is the book in my mind for me, and it might be different for you. Maybe maybe you're like, no, it has to be the number 9. It has to be the big book. But for me, it's like it has to be this cover. So that's how I think about it. I know, like I said, I've just been reading a lot of stuff online, like on Facebook groups and stuff that I'm in. And I see that question pop up quite often, so I figured I'd talk about it today. If I was a little rambly, I do apologize. I feel like I went on a couple of tangents here and there when I probably shouldn't have. But if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like, and then comment down below as well. Tell me, your process may differ. You may agree with me. You might have a different price threshold. This, that, or whatever. You might think all your stuff's personal collection forever, or maybe you only invest, or this, that, or whatever. Let me know what you do, how you think about grading your comics, and yeah, that'll be it, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.